Creating content completely changed my life in 120 days. And I know that sounds completely insane, but in this video, I want to tell you the story of how it all happened. In the end of 2024, I still had my theme page that was dying by this point, getting customers here and there. Basically, the well was drying up because customers weren't coming around as often and weren't paying that much. So I was basically broke again. Around October, that's when I decided I finally gave into it and I was like, yo, I'ma make my first video, you know? So I worked on it. I scrapped the first one. I worked on it. I scrapped the second one. And then I finally hit published. I won't lie. When I say that I just hit publish, I would be jumping across like very crucial stuff. And basically, this was a whole new department for me because in my theme page, I don't use my face. It's like a faceless page. So using my face will be a first one for me. Like having my friends and family like seeing my face and watching me while they're eating dinner. That would be crazy. I actually gave up to it and ended up like downloading CapCut and editing my first video. It wasn't until I made my first video that was trash, but now in my head I see it as like just being perfect because it was exactly what I needed to see, like where were my capabilities and what I needed to improve. I dare you, like go and check it out. Feel free to. You'll basically see that that was a stepping stone. One thing that mainly made me actually start second doubting my process after creating it wasn't exactly the process of putting myself out there because it got to a point where I was like, man, if I'm creating content, eventually they'll know, you know. I just don't need to tell them. They'll eventually know. I started by posting like TikToks and started by posting like shorts and stuff like that while posting long form content as well. So I was doing like once every Thursday, one long form video every Thursday, and like two short form videos, you know? The amount of bad engagement I got from like this short form content was like insane, man. So I decided that focusing on that wasn't motivating me to keep on going because it was really hard, man. I really spent time editing and stuff, and then like people would be like, you should have used this font. So it got to a time where I was like spending hours and days planning the right video, you know, because there were certain videos where I actually used captions. Like I had to generate captions for all of it, and I just found it very time wasting. I prefer to actually depend on YouTube's caption base because it is quite accurate, you know, and it actually ended up saving me a whole lot of time. But even so, I really was in a dip because I didn't feel like nothing was working, man. I was putting the time, I was putting the effort, trying to cook up the thumbnails and all that, but nothing seemed to happen. In the background, I was still grinding, you know, I was still polishing, I'm still learning today, like about thumbnails, about like storytelling, talking to the camera and stuff like that. Fast forward to now when I posted my last video, it was my first video like actually doing 50 views in its first day, man. Like that's crazy for me. Like that's a first. I usually got 50 views like in a week's time. So it's my first video getting to that. So like props, that means that like something's working, you know. And I feel like this is a gateway because being in content creation and being here on YouTube, believe it or not, it actually ended up like sharpening my skills. You actually start developing a taste or a sense that makes you like second nature, and you can never get this like just learning or just like reading. Sometimes you just have to like do it yourself, you know. That being said, my work ethic has improved since I've been doing this every Thursday. Now I have a work ethic where I edit and all that within a week's time. So since it's only long form content, I'm happy with the time I spend editing and like making the script and stuff like that. And mainly because talking to the camera is what mainly is my goal. Because me doing cold pitching and me talking to the camera and talking to people from all over the world, you have to have that skill of being comfortable and being like composure than being centralized in the image, knowing how to use your background and stuff like that. Those are certain details that I wouldn't know otherwise. I was doing cold pitching before this, before content creation, but I really feel like just doing content creation, there's a lot of stuff that I now do behind the scenes when I'm cold pitching that my rates exponentially go up. I'm not really in that position to really give you any like advice yet, but if you want to take something useful out of this video, like this is some lessons I learned along the way. First is giving it time. I really feel this now because 4 or 5 months ago I started I made some videos that I spent a whole lot of time like editing, like waking up at 9 a.m., doing certain stuff, and like just going to bed like 3 a.m. and just editing and trying to make everything like look perfect and all that thing. But yeah, it only got like 16 views, and most of them might be my views because this is a little secret, but I usually watch my same video like with four different accounts just so it doesn't like appear as one. Okay, okay, I know the cat's out of the bag, but I just do that because the algorithm picks it, and that's a double-edged sword if you see it, because YouTube studies your subscribers, and if you're the guy that like as soon as you post, five different accounts see it, YouTube will see that, oh, like, okay, these people really like this. Okay, okay, the next time where you post and those five people don't actually see it, YouTube will trace it as like, oh, it's performing badly, and subsequently it won't show to that much people. I don't do it anymore. I stopped doing it some time ago, but yeah, it happens. It's a slippery slope. Starting as soon as possible is the best thing I can say, because most of the things you think you know, but until you put yourself in the terrain, bro, I really guarantee that like it reveals itself. I learned a lot since my journey began, and I don't regret doing any of my videos because they're still there, they're still up there. And some of the videos I made way back then where I over edited and was looking for every nook and cranny and only got like 10 views. Some of them are only starting to get views now, months later. So let's see. We have years, we have like a whole lot time to wait. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so what does the future look for me now? Basically, I don't want to let trademark engineer die. I'm gonna carry it until where I can. Mainly, I'm going to be focusing on my main page here, and I won't be actually expanding as much as spreading my line too thin. I recently created an account on X. You can follow me there. I won't lie, I think the light is shining bright. And even if it wasn't, I really feel like I would proceed because I'm in love with the action. I'm in love with like actually having to answer you guys' comments. I'm in love with you guys calling and saying like, bro, I need help with this, and like you guys implementing and actually seeing the difference, even when it doesn't make the difference. When you guys just call me and all those things, it's like it's different, it hits different. I wish personally, I hopefully wish that like in the end of 2025, we don't know how this channel is going to be. I'm happy for the 61 subscribers that follow me until this day. My biggest take on this is like just like starting, because you never know. Now I'm talking to a camera, but I can literally be with you like as a fellow content creator near down the line in the future. So stop overthinking about it and like just literally start.